What is going on, true believers? I hope you're having a great morning. My name is Bleaves. We're here to talk about this crazy crypto world and what's going on in the number one story of the day. Donald Trump is now officially, and it is confirmed, hosting another Crypto Clarity Act meeting between the banks and crypto to try to figure out a path forward. Not only is he hosting this, thing, and by the way, I'm in the wrong platform. Not only is he hosting this thing, but he's also, we had a statement from Brian Armstrong last night that says that he now sees a path forward to making the Clarity Act a reality. And that means that we could have, quote unquote, clarity in the market, and we could have it a lot sooner than later. So this is a good moment in time, a great possibility in time. We're going to talk about all that and more. Stick around. After the jump, we're going to dive right into it. It's not financial advice, but I'm always right.
It's your boy Bleaves. Everybody listen up. Let's get it. I'm trying to put money in your pocket, that crypto wallet, that bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right. 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 I'm always right.
All right, guys, so we have an announcement right now from Brian Armstrong, and that announcement was that he now supports, and by the way, remember, this was something that was not supported initially, that he is now in favor of because there was a lack of, look, there's a lot of problems going on right now in the crypto space concerning this Clarity Act passage. First of all, the Genius Act has already passed, installing stablecoins and allowing for yields. Now the banks are trying to claw back part of the Genius Act in the Clarity Act. And that's what's going on. And that's what's causing the problems right now. And the fact that we can't seem to get this thing going to the finish line. So today, this morning, Brian Armstrong is now saying that he thinks that this is going to be a win-win. So for those of you that don't know, just yesterday, Brian Armstrong was at Mar-a-Lago. And he said that he thinks that this is now going to pass. We are going to get this through the finish line, hopefully by April. Now, this is going back here. This was Brian Armstrong and Senator Bernie Moreno. And this was a sit-down meeting, and the duo believes that there is now a real chance for the Clarity Act to pass by April of 2026. He says, we are going to get this across the finish line, hopefully by April. Brian Armstrong said, live on TV, there is now a path forward where we can get a win-win-win outcome here, a win for the crypto industry, a win for the banks, and a win for the American consumer to get President Trump's crypto agenda through to the finish line. Now, as it's now established, the main dispute in the bill is whether stablecoins should be allowed to offer rewards or interest. Banks fear that higher returns from stablecoin wallets will pull money out of savings accounts and weaken deposits. However, Moreno rejects this view, arguing that people should not have to protect banks and that competition will force them to offer better rates. Somebody is finally saying the quiet part out loud. Remember how we started with this? We had a problem with the Clarity Act. We had a problem with what was going on, with the problem being this would just make banks competitive. They don't want to pay you interest. Well, the stablecoin initiative, the Genius Act, is going to force them to start paying you interest, which means that they're going to give you back money for using your money. Currently, they don't give you anything. They barely give you interest for, remember, the JP Morgan, 0.1% interest. These numbers are crazy when you look at them. They also support faster payments, including daily wages instead of the usual twice-a-month cycle. All of these things with the blockchain are now possible. You can just set up You can just set up as an employer on the blockchain to pay people by blockchain in stablecoins, theoretically, every day. You don't have to wait until tomorrow. You don't have to wait until Friday to get your paycheck. You can just get paid every single day. Wouldn't that make life a lot better, a lot easier, a lot more manageable for you and everybody else that you know? Think about that. All right, let's get into it right now. Good morning to everybody. Good morning, Roy. Looking fit in that shirt. It's right there, baby. It's right there. Good morning to Amit. Leeson, good morning. Jay Manuel, good morning. Latama, good morning. Steve Merck, what's going on? Noam saying, good morning. Hope everybody is having a good time. Penguin says, Trump attacking Iran won't have that much impact in the market, I think. Well, first of all, I don't think that we're going to actually invade or attack. Now, that doesn't mean I'm right. But it means that what we've got right now is not an actual attack. We've got what they call saber rattling. Saber rattling is basically they're just standing at the door going, rah, 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 you know. And I think that what we've done is we've moved everything that we need in order to have an operation into the Iranian space. They now know that we mean business. They now know we are not playing around. And it's not the Iranian people. It's the Republican Guard and it's the political elite. Those are the ones that we're coming after. And the people are not going to stop us, which means that, and by the way, there will be a mass, if you remember the Iraqi Republican Guard back in the when we had Desert Shield and Desert Storm, do you remember how quickly they gave up? Because it was not their fight. It was the elite's fight. So Iran is going to fall very quickly. We are not defending. We're not going after all of Iran. We're just going after the elites. And those elites, they don't have the protection of the people. They just killed 30,000 people for protesting. They do not have the moral high ground. So this is going to be very, very fast. Whatever happens here is going to be very, very fast. Now, what I think is going to happen is it's going to be done through diplomacy. And they're going to recognize that it is time to get out of the way. And that means the Ayatollah, gone. That means that the current government regime, gone. That means that I don't know if it's democracy. Let's be clear about that. I'm not sure that Iran cares about or wants democracy overall and largely. That's going to require them to be part of it. The United States could assist, but I don't think it's our responsibility to assist. I think that, you know, if we topple that regime, then we have to step back out. We don't help. We can't be the ones to help. And by the way, also let's remember that in case this were to happen, it might get worse. This government that they have right now, the Shiite government, might be the best that they have. Because if you remember, when a government falls, a worse government sometimes takes over. So this could be this could be a bad situation. I don't think that it is. I think ultimately there are too many people in Iran right now that want. And by the way, if you go back and you look at what was going on in like the late 60s and the 70s in Iran, there was a pretty free society. Before the Ayatollah rose to prominence, it was Ayatollah Khomeini, and they started to use these strict, these really, really strict Shia laws, and that changed everything fundamentally in Iran, almost on a dime. So I think we'll see a return back to that level of freedom, but I don't know for sure. So we're going to be watching that, and we're going to be nervous about it until it happens. But I don't know how that plays out. I don't know how that ends. I hope that it ends well for everybody involved, but I don't know. Okay. Now, meanwhile, politics is also affecting the bill's timeline. Marino wants it passed by April before election season slows progress. He doubts Democrats will regain the House, citing voter frustration over inflation and border issues. He said the Democrats only have one idea, which is hatred of President Trump, and that's not a very good idea in terms of actually advancing the lives of working Americans. This guy does not know what he's talking about. There are 6 special elections, by the way. There have been 6 special elections since Donald Trump was elected. 5 5 of those elections have gone to Democrats. So if this guy is trying to tell you that he doesn't think that there's a problem right now with Donald Trump and the Republican Party, he is not paying attention to anything at all. They've got to get this thing passed right now and get it done, because if they do not, then this will be a major, major, major problem. And by the way, we look at it as blockchain being the future. We look at it as blockchain being the next step in evolution of finance. So do they. But they don't see it the same way that you and I see it. They don't see Cardano. They don't see XRP. They don't see Ethereum. They don't see they don't see SWI. They don't see Zebek Network. They don't see Dev. They don't see any of the projects. They don't see Definity. They don't see those. They see the blockchain as a way to transact dollars. That's it. They see the blockchain as a faster way to speed up money transfer. They're not looking at it as an investment opportunity. The sole investment opportunity that they're looking at, Bitcoin as a potential store of value, and maybe Ethereum, maybe XRP as that payment rail provider. After that, the cliff is done right there. Like that's what I see right now in the market. And by the way, that does not mean that mergers and acquisitions, they really haven't even started. We've seen a little bit of it, but we haven't even seen the big buildup yet. So when we see the big buildup, then it's going to get super crazy. So we're going to be watching all of this with just like, it's going to be like, guys, the future is going to be, future is not going to be what we think it is. Now, on the ETFs, Bitcoin down 133 million on the day. Massive outflows for 41 million in outflows for Ethereum. Solana still has capital inflows of $2 million. And then we had outflows of about $3 million, $2.2 million in XRP. Again, we're still having a nice run for XRP, but it really has cooled off a little bit. Now, XRP exchange supply is at an all-time low. I want you guys to know that. XRP supply is at an all-time low. That's bullish for XRP. Most of the ETF inflows continue to be to the positive, except for the last couple days. So again, these are really positive signals, but the end result of all of these positive signals has not resulted in price action. Now, when that doesn't happen, and that's consolidation and less supply and less supply and less supply are on exchange, when you see that, that means that price appreciation is most likely coming. Now, we don't know for sure, but again, it looks like it's coming. The question right now is, when do the sellers get exhausted? And so far, I've told you guys that the sellers, there's signs right now of seller exhaustion. The problem is there's not enough sign of seller exhaustion, and we're still seeing every day. And by the way, I have been told by multiple sources that my attacks on Jane Street, saying that it's Jane Street all the time, is not really accurate. That most likely Jane Street is part of whatever's going on, the manipulation, if you will, that Jane Street probably is buying and selling and stuff like that, and then accumulating the ETF. But the more likely scenario is that it's everybody in a not coordinated attack, but in an AI telling them to dump sort of attack. They've got AI algorithms that are running everything, and it's telling them the market is still coming down. They're looking at the bullish narrative or the bearish narrative, and they're following that narrative, and all these companies are doing it. So they're all selling out on each other, draining liquidity from the market, and looking for the next shift back in. Now, in the meantime, I will tell you guys, I bought gold last night, so we'll see whether or not gold continues to move at all. It could dump. It could dump dramatically. But if we attack Iran, I think gold is going to start pumping again. And we're going to see that next all-time, we'll see that next level. So it's worth it to take that risk. Also, I got in at about 49. So if it does happen, that makes sense to me that that dip right around that range might be a good reversal area. So I could be wrong, but there's a possibility and a potential there. So fear and greed index sitting at 8, still just in that garbage zone. And by the way, it's not the only time that I've seen this. This is not, going back over here, I feel like there it is right there. Like, do you remember how it was back in late 2022? Like, we were in that bear market and we just, like, it was so low and we just kept feeling it every single day right there, just day in and day out of these really low. Well, that looks like where we are right now. So that it seems like if that is the case, by the way, bottom signal. Can you believe that? We actually have come to the very quickly to the bottom of that bear market in terms of that algorithm. And then after that, after we bottomed out, boom, 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 it started to go crazy. And then we kind of ranged here for a little while, and then boom, and then it started getting nuts. So I think that that's going to happen again, and I think that we're probably sitting right there at the precipice of a reversal. By the way, the reversal will take time. And, some of you might feel like you don't have time. You got time. You got time. Liquidity, again, it's still just kind of pulling up at the top of the range. On the 3-day number, again, right here, 68, 69,000 right now. That's where the money is. That's where they want to attack. Now, if you're wondering what I'm talking about, it's this little range right here. Is what we're looking for. And this is a heat map with the highest amount being 59 million. So you got to find that, and that's right there in this range right here at 59 million. That's where most of the money is pulled up. And what you're looking for is you're looking for that yellow right there. And matter of fact, you can change the colors of it. We just went with the blue and the yellow, but yellow right there is where the money is. So what we're doing is we got to go after the money, or at least that's what the futures traders are doing, is going after the money, and that's on the 3-day. When we get to the 2-week, remember we're using weird timelines right now. When we get to the higher time frames, guess what? We're still heating up in this range up here, as opposed to down here in these lower ranges. Like, it's going to take a lot to dump down to 60,000 and get that small amount of liquidity along the way, when there is a bunch sitting right there in that 71,000 range. So when the market heats up again, and it will heat up, when the market heats up again, these are going to get knocked out and they are going to get annihilated. So, and that would mean major price appreciation. Now, when we zoom out right here, this is where we get really interested, okay? Because now we're getting close to 100,000, and that's where the liquidity is up in that 100,000 range. On the larger time frames, there's hundreds of millions of dollars sitting in between 90 and 100,000 right now. Hundreds of millions of dollars in all of these ranges. That's when we really start to see, can we get this? Can we claw back? Can we get that some of that recovery? So let's go out 2 days ago. We were at 2.3 trillion market cap. Today, 2.25. We've lost $50 billion in market cap over the last couple of days. Okay, that's not a great sign. That's not exciting at all. Also, it should be noted that I told you guys this yesterday and the day before, Nvidia earnings are coming on February 25. We're about 6 days away. And I said that I think that the market is going to end up pumping. I said that the market was going to end up pumping because Nvidia is going to beat and shatter their earnings one more time, and it's going to be bigger than anybody thought. But then I go back and I look at Nvidia earnings, which have generally done the same thing every single time. Their estimate for earning is 65 billion, and most analysts are saying it's going to blow that away. Now, even though that's blowing it away, and even though Apple and Google and all these places are going to spend $100 billion or more dollars on CPUs and GPUs, they're going to buy them from Nvidia to build all these data centers for AI and all of this stuff. Even though all of this stuff is happening right now, people are thinking that it's overbought, or that AI is on a bubble right now, despite the fact that the earnings are coming in, just crazy earnings. Despite the crazy earnings, they are trying to tell you that it's not priced in properly, that we're in a bubble, but the revenue supports it. So there's manipulation is what I'm saying ultimately. I think we're being a little bit manipulated by these markets right now. And what I see happening is I think Nvidia is going to have a surge and probably a nice little breakout coming up very, very soon. But this market, these skeezy, shady, scumbag, dirty, these dirty institutions are going to do everything they can to steal your liquidity. no matter what, okay? Never think that they're on your side. They are never on your side. This is the market today, total crypto market cap on the daily right now. This is what it looks like. And we are down at the bottom of the range. Again, this is the range that I gave you a couple days ago and said, you know, the logic would dictate we're going to do one of two things, that we're going to break from this area and we're going to either come down and we're going to touch this bottom right here at 2.22 before a surge back up to 2.4, or it's going to get way worse. And with Iran on the precipice and all the things that are happening right now, here we are. And also gold now up above 5,000. Silver now up. It's only 1.2%, but up to $78. So we're starting to see that flight into gold. So gold and silver starting to get a little bit more heat. So maybe we were right on this, and we're seeing the market down $20 billion. We're seeing the Dow Jones down. It started off, by the way, on the Dow Jones. Go look at this on the 5 minute. We're going to do a 5 minute here. The market opens with a fair value gap, just a gigantic gap. And guess what? Consolidates here for 20, 30 minutes. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, about 45, 50 minutes. And then boom, it just starts to take off. We're almost at an hour now. So I should just say an hour. Duh, stupid. So anyway, it looks like we're going to have that surge. And it looks like this little gap here that we've created right there in futures is going to be filled very, very quickly. Or maybe we're going to dump, but usually the gaps get filled pretty quickly. And we've had a reversal on that 7-day, which just was coming down, and looks like it's headed back up. So we could be seeing at least that value gap right there get filled, and then we might see another surge for the Dow Jones. This is, again, it's a 5 minute chart, so we're not even going back very far. It looks like the market is primed for a run. It looks like the market is primed for a move. Everybody at $50,000 took their profits along the way. You know, the Billionaire Boys Club. So here we are. Now, what's going on with Bitcoin? Let's look at it. As Trick Williams might say, let's talk about it. I can't even understand what he says, by the way. Half the time I don't know what the fuck he's saying. All right, so if you were entering a position right now, there's certainly worse positions you could be entering. Looks like Bitcoin is probably headed down to 65,000. However, if you look at it from this context and you say, well, you know, that bottom that you've picked there, beliefs, doesn't really look like it gels. Maybe right there. We might be at the bottom of the range. I'm zooming out here to look at this on a higher time frame, because we were just kind of eyeballing it along this range anyway. And if we were to take the top of this, like, let me give you an example here of what I'm talking about here. You can see that range right there where we had a top. So if we were to take this and move that like to the top of the range right there, tighten this up a little bit into that 66,000 range to say that that's where that bubble might be, and we hit the R right here and we look at it from this and we come back over, ta-da. We're actually right where we're supposed to be for that bounce. So this to me suggests that we're probably going to see some sort of relief rally, some sort of relief bounce. If we look at boom, 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 boom. MACD's in the green right now on the daily. Not surging though, not surging at all. And the RSI sitting at 32. So I'm not sure that, I mean, everything looks primed for upward mobility. It looks primed for upward move. Look, we got a fear and greed index, which is sitting in the tank under 10. We've got a MACD, which is showing green. We've got an RSI that's running low right now, meaning that capital should start flowing in because this is the dip to buy according to the metrics. And when we look at a couple of the little pieces here, we're seeing outflows on Bitcoin on the ETFs. Those are reactionary to the market conditions. So, and we're not seeing a surge in gold and silver. We're seeing movement from gold and silver, but we're not seeing a real, just incredible push, a nice surge. So, again, everything looks primed for upward movement. So the reason that we're not doing that, manipulation. We're still being manipulated. Also, speaking of which, OM is starting to break out finally at 6.3 cents, up 14% today, while the rest of the market is having a dip. So fingers crossed that we'll finally get a little bit of a breakout from Mantra, who have now migrated over to the Mantra chain. Your pool is no longer in Ethereum. So, I mean, at some point, it is my belief that this thing has got to break back out and really start to rally. I can't get lower. Or, I mean, it can get lower, but there's really no reason for it to get lower. Like, everything that could have happened has already happened. So that $3 or $4, again, market conditions have been a liquidity drain to every platform, to every crypto. By the way, crypto companies. This, by the way, I saw this the other day. There we go. The crypto industry has experienced significant turbulence in 2026 with a new wave of collapses, shutdown, and restructuring following a major market slump. In 2026, you've had Rhodium, Bitcoin mining farm, filed for Chapter 11. Rental Coins filed for Chapter 15 bankruptcy in November. NGS Crypto was ordered shut down in 2025. In January of 2026, OKX, Mantra, and Polygon Labs reduced their staff, and increased market volatility in February led to another crypto company halting withdrawals. And that was right here. No, that's not. That's rental. There we go. It's this one right here. Boom, 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 boom. Last year we saw DAP Radar shutting down. In January, OKX and Mantras, Nifty Gateway. That's what it is. Nifty Gateway, which is an NFT platform, shut down and refunded everybody, and they just closed their shop. So we're still seeing a drag on everything. We're still seeing a massive drag. And 24-hour DEX volume, here's how bad we're getting. 2.6, 1.8, that's 4, 4.5. 4.5 plus 7, 5.2. 5.2 plus 7, 5.9. 5.9 billion in volume over the top 4. Remember, we've been talking about this for a while. Over 12 million up into the 16 or 20 million range is what we want. That's when we're going to see some enthusiasm in the market. We are basically just floating as a dead stick. And by the way, it's been worse. It's been worse recently. So, I say this, but I mean, if you start to go back and look at like the volume, 24-hour DEX volume, and you were to look at it from a monthly standpoint or like an annual standpoint, like we've been here before. And it always comes back. But again, the biggest problem for me is Polymarket, Kalshi, Coinbase prediction market. All the prediction markets have taken the steam out of meme coins. Meme coins were a utility for crypto. And I know that sounds like, I know most people are going to be like, what are you talking about? Well, that's the reason that people were here. That's the reason that we had a bunch of retail in the market, because they were gambling. And by the way, that doesn't make it good. That just means numerically, meme coins were good for the market because it provided volume and it provided hope in trading, and it provided people with that opportunity to find that gem, that next 1000x or something like that. And people were willing to risk it for that. And now they're not. Now they can just go to Kalshi or Polymarket or one of these platforms, and they can just bet and just be done with it. And Almanac, which is a new one that's coming out over the next couple days, which is part of BitTensor. It gives you 2 opportunities to win. So yeah, you can win by being a good, like if you win bets on this prediction market, then you become a voice of reason, and you can win for being that voice, and you can win for actually winning. So this is a really, really cool, here's the terminal, by the way. U.S. strike Iran by March 31st, 2026. Right now, 58% yes, 43% no. Will Bitcoin reach 150,000 by February? No yeses, 100% no's. And then here's the 24-hour volume. 1.1 million has been wagered on it. 2.5 million has been wagered on it. Will Mike Pence win the 2028 presidential nomination? 1% says yes, 99% says no. Will LeBron James win the presidential election? 1% says yes, 99% says no. Will Chelsea Clinton win? Will Jordan win the 2026 FIFA World Cup? There's all kinds of different predictions that are coming out right now. And, you know, a few bucks here, a few bucks there, you can be making. And this, so far, this Epic has earned daily rewards of $3,542. So if you check in Almanac, they're doing the same thing, and they give you 2 opportunities to win. I got a video coming out about Almanac today. I hope you guys will take the time to engage with it. It will help me out tremendously. And by the way, I just want to show you guys what the where's the thumbnail? Here's the thumbnail. And by the way, I tried to do Marty and Doc Brown with my face on it, but for whatever reason, the AI algorithm was like, "Oh, dude, no, Jesus Christ, you were too ugly for that." So it didn't work. But again, another platform that has what we need. Now let's go over here real quick. I'm gonna go to CoinGate and we're gonna look through here. White House holding the Clarity Act, Supreme Court possibly ruling tomorrow on the Trump tariffs. So everything. All right, so Senator Warren, here we go. Let's see what old Bug Eyes herself says. Joe Kahanis is getting in. As reported by CNBC, Elizabeth Warren sent a letter to Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Jerome Powell urging them not to bail out cryptocurrency billionaires with taxpayer funds. The letter is in the wake of Bitcoin crashing over 50% from its record high in October. Now, what is this? This is some clam just trying to find a reason to point out what she can be annoyed by. This is a Karen move right here. Something that's not happening. She sent a letter, a strongly worded letter to the Homeowners Association to let people know that she doesn't think that you should bail out those people. Those people. You know what I mean? You mean Americans? You mean Americans? So don't help America. That's what she's saying, right? Am I getting it wrong? Don't help out the Americans. What is alarming to her is that during a recent hearing in a discussion about his power to bail out the crypto market downturn, Scott Bessent was asked if the funds of our taxpayers would be used to fund the crypto market. Warren quoted the secretary's testimony in the letter. Rather than giving a simple no, he deflected, stating that we are retaining seized Bitcoin. It's deeply unclear what, if any, plans the U.S. government currently has to intervene in the current Bitcoin sell-off. She also said that the agency should not attempt to rescue the Bitcoin crash. She also said that they should not use direct purchases or guarantees to move funds from taxpayers to crypto billionaires. So if you're wondering if Elizabeth Warren is stupid, confirmed. And she just makes shit up to create controversy. Just makes it up to create controversy. So unbelievable. Her shamelessness is so disgusting. John Deaton, God damn it, get more popular because this woman is just garbage. She is a trash bag on legs. Unbelievable. So anyway, what's next for the ETHZilla stock price? Another crash or a recovery? Remember, they were going through some stuff just recently as well. At the time of writing, ETHZilla stock was trading at $3.50 in pre-market, down 3%. The day range is between 343 and 365, was up pretty high and now having a little bit of a crash. Crypto market slides as the hawkish FOMC minutes trigger Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP sell-off. The crypto market. The FOMC conducted its voting during the 27-28 and reached a 10-2 decision to maintain rates at their current level. This comes after 3 rate cuts totaling 75 basis points. The Federal Reserve released its FOMC minutes on Wednesday. The report underscores the central bank's readiness to increase the interest rate if inflation moves closer to its 2% target. The statement read, most participants cautioned that progress towards the committee's 2% objective might be slower and more uneven than generally expected. This has cast a shadow over the Fed's upcoming decisions, with the probability of rate remaining unchanged now hitting 93%. In other words, the market is is almost certain that the central bank will hold the funds steady at its next meeting, which is in March. So in response to this development, the crypto market took a deep dive. The crypto market crash has triggered a series of liquidations affecting multiple tokens. The market saw a 0.7% drop in open interest. Traders lost more than 224 million in futures positions during the first 24 hours. So things are just looking bad for the overall market. And, I don't know when this thing is starting to turn around. You know what I mean? Just in time to sell in May and walk away. I just sold my midnight because I got a little bit of a pump. Maybe it was a mistake. No, it wasn't a mistake. I don't know that midnight's going to maintain. Now, the problem with that is if you're looking at midnight, what I would say to anybody about midnight is they're launching in March, at the end of March. So between now and March, I think you're going to see a really sizable pump, maybe even a nice little 2 or 3x off of it, potentially. If nothing else, I would suspect that it's probably going to get at or near that all-time high or this secondary top right here at around 10 cents. So I do think that there's a move for midnight up to 10 cents. And by the way, I'm in a couple of trades right now, but what I'm looking for is I'm looking to move into midnight. But what I was hoping for was that we would get another dip before that happened. So I may end up sitting on the sidelines and not being able to realize anything off of that at all, because again, I'm not going to buy up at the top of the range. And even if we were talking about like right now at this 618, if we're talking about it at this 618, I was not going to buy yesterday or the day before or the day before or the day before, because all of that range right there is at the top of that zone. It came down to this range right here. That was your entry position. And then this was your entry position. So, if it breaks above and goes up to 0.5, goes up to 7 cents, when it breaks back down to 6% or 6 cents, then that'll be a re-entry right there. But right now, you're just at the top of, you're at the top of this zone right here. So there's just no reason to enter at this point. So I'm looking for a reversal on that though. So we'll see what happens. Also, so the market seems to be moving into the positive. It looks like Bitcoin is up on the day. Here's what's happening. Bitcoin is up on the day. Tau is down 4% on the day after surging up to $214 over the last little while. And that's AI getting money sucked out, liquidity being sucked out. If I'm looking at it from Fibonacci, from the pivot to the top, it looks like I'm already in that zone. I'm in the zone for a reversal, by the way. And this would be, if we were to look at it from a, we're looking for an Elliott wave. We've got this, and we should have a larger surge coming up into right about here, I would say, followed by a break back down here, and then a nice little surge into this sort of right there. All right, let's put that right there, and let's say that's what I think is going to happen right there. I think we're going to have a quick little Elliott wave kind of surge on BitTensor, and just, kind of a break back above. So we're down $9 billion on the day. Bitcoin was up for just a second, a moment ago, but Tau down 4.5%, ICP down 3.5%. So that's AI. Near protocol down 2. So the AI protocols struggling today while the market is trying to turn around just a little bit. Terra Luna Classic up positive on the day. Midnight up positive on the day. Trump meme coin up, but only 1%. Silver starting to surge. Gold starting to surge. OM up on the day. Band Protocol is up today. Injective is up 8% on the day. Synthetics is up 14% on the day. So there's money being moved around in the market. Myro, by the way, little dead Myro is now up from 00363 to 00480. So up a few points on the day. So I don't know. All right, so what do we have to, if we hold on BSC? We don't have to do anything. I mean, it depends on what you're talking about. If it's OM or whatever. I mean, the question is going to be liquidity. And if you're migrating, you can use the mantra tool to migrate over. If it's mantra that we were talking about, Brian, then you just migrate it over with the mantra tool, which basically just unpairing it and adding in a new pair into the mantra chain. So if that was the question. Otherwise, we'll see what happens, guys. I'm not sure what's going on with the market or when we're going to see a reversal. The market obviously wants to, the market wants to move to the upside. Profit wants to be made to the upside. All of these guys are looking for generational opportunity. We're all looking for it, right? But a lot of it's going to come from, completing whatever it is that you're looking to complete. For dev, getting your announcement out, getting the blockchain launch, getting all of those pieces will cause a nice little surge in the market, and we'll see it go from 6 cents to 60 cents. Nice little 10x. And it'll still be undervalued, it'll still be a third, but we could be. And by the way, for those of you that are worried about the 30 million token minting from dev, I was told last night by Tom that since he sent a cease and desist to the Forever Association, the Forever Association has stopped. They've stopped moving tokens around, and they've honored the cease and desist, and that was sent through an attorney. But there were 5 million, I think, that were sent to a specific wallet. It is my guess at this point, not saying that it is my guess at this point that was Ray, that they minted 30 million and gave Ray 5 million. And he was in charge at the point. So there's nothing illegal happening. Except, in my opinion, he would be stealing from liquidity. But I don't know that to be the case. Again, from what I'm reading right now and I'm getting from Tom, everything that's happened so far has been perfectly legal. So now they're stopping what could have been a problem. And anything that was sent to that wallet is probably lost and there's nothing that can be done about it. But the remaining portion is being transferred back over to Tom, and he is going to be in charge of it as it should be. So we'll see what happens there. But it took a surge, by the way. We had a surge from dev all the way up to like 12, 13, 14 cents at one point. A nice little specific reversal. And then we had, again, the former CEO sucking the liquidity out. I can't see that it would be him, but there's no other explanation that I have right now. And I'm speculating. I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying that it doesn't make any sense to me that it would be anybody else or there would be any other circumstance. By the way, there'll be some content coming out today. I've got a couple of videos that are coming out today, but I'm going to be working on reorganizing the studio here a little bit, trying to get my lighting right. I don't like where my lights are in the space. I've got this other light up here that I love this light. I absolutely love this light. Now and by the way, it's just a color enhancer sort of light. And it gives me a nice red glow, or it gives me a nice yellow glow, or green, which, of course, I've got a green screen. And then we got blue, and then we've got dark blue, spooky ooky. Then we've got nice purple. And then we've got, all the other ones. So working on getting the lighting set up. I got my key light. I've got a fill light. And then I've got some enhancement lights and stuff like that. But my green screen behind me back here, I have a light on the ground shooting upwards, and I need it a little bit different because I need the aperture on this camera to, I'll put it this way here. I'm going to use a flashlight. Watch what happens to my screen when I do the flashlight here. So I put that up there, and it kind of drowns out some of that stuff. So I'm going to work on the camera, try to get the camera dialed in a little bit better. Not because I want you guys to see my handsome face, but just because I feel better when I look at my own face and see that I like the lighting, and I don't currently like the lighting very much. Also, I've got this other enhancer turning me orange, yellow, white. Like I said that. Blue, green, red, and it's got other modes. Like I can do like color changing, like it's a rainbow. I can have this thing like running over here with like different color schemes on it that are less opaque, a little bit more obscured, shit like that. So, we'll see what happens. But for right now, we're going to be a little bit purple. So anyway, that's the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. Probably do another Skyrim stream tonight if I get a little bit of time. Markets are kicking back. It looks like we're going back into, we're almost positive on the day. We're not, we're down $5 billion. The market seems to be moving back to the positive. Bitcoin back to the positive. But again, AI seems to be down pretty good.